Good morning, everybody. KC3QPJ here this morning. Name is Aaron for the first time watchers here. And just going to do another quick short video. I've neglected so long. I felt really good about the last video. Um, I had over 1,000 views in the first 48 hours, so I know I've got an audience. Glad it went out there, and just have a couple quick things to share with you today. Um, since the last video, I went and did another upgrade, and it was a cheap upgrade for the new Yaesu FT710. So we're going to get to that right now. Let me go ahead and get my camera switched around here. And here's the cheap upgrade right here. Okay, so this hobby has some expensive aspects to it, and it's got some cheaper aspects to it. And right now, I've got my windows kind of open, so the reflections that you guys are seeing. You know what? I'm going to close some curtains. Bear with me a second. Let's see if the last one does the trick. Yes, it did. All right. So with me walking around in this old farmhouse here, it bounces the floor quite a bit, and just realized this past 2 or 3 months that the farmhouse is much older than what we initially thought it was. We thought it was built like 1890s. Actually, it was built in 1820s. The last number on the cornerstone, there's a cornerstone right here on the top end corner of the house where it was originally built. It's actually 1820 something. We can't figure out the last number, but no big deal. Anyway, if you guys are first time viewers, keep in mind my wife's here, my 2 cats are here. If you hear things in the background, it's normal. The house is not haunted. Be pretty cool if it was, but I don't believe in that kind of stuff. But anyhow, so the new upgrade. So I went on Facebook Marketplace and purchased this monitor for $10. And then I purchased a DVI cable to go along with it, and voila, this now reflects what's going on my radio. So it seems to do really well. It is actually, it seems faster responsive than uh, the radio itself for some reason. I was watching the screensaver this morning when I came in because I don't shut the radios down. And I saw that the Yaesu screensaver was popping up faster on the TV screen or the monitor than it was on the radio. Really odd. But no big deal. It works. And this will allow me to explain some of the scope to you guys a little bit more in detail, since I didn't have really a good zoom on my other one, but this really blows up the screen and gives a clearer picture. And of course, with the cheap camera that I'm using, it's kind of hard to see the good detail and quality in the picture. But I did make some mistakes on the last video that I still haven't done the research yet on what the monitor means and some of the other menu features. But that being said, let's get back to this screen and you can see what I'm doing here. All right, so your bandwidth scope, you can see a little bit more in detail. It shows what frequency I'm on, and I actually just spoke to a gentleman in Belgium. He's a contest station. He's still in there, I believe. He was coming through pretty well, and right now it doesn't seem like he's talking. Oh, I've knocked myself off frequency. All right, so you can see on the scope that his signal's not real strong, but yet we're still getting him 5.5 easy. And the way the radio works, it just really boosts his signal. Now it's 8:30 in the morning here on Saturday morning, and I figured I would try to see who might be on 17 and 15 meters before it got too late in the day, because the later it gets in the day, the more crowded these bands become, especially 20 meters. There's a lot of guys that do it's not really a contest, but it's a thing that you can do with ham radio called Parks in the Air. You take a mobile rig or even a base station with battery backup, and you go out and hike to a park somewhere at the peak of the park, or even summits on the air is basically the same thing, but you're going up to a mountaintop. So I think I've explained this in other videos, but it's I've lost my train of thought. But either way, I'm going to get you back to this display and explain more in detail how the scope works if nobody's had a software-defined radio like the Yaesu FT710. This could be a good guide to get you to understand what's going on your scope a lot better than you normally would. People that are familiar with the 991A, they already know how this works. It's got a very similar display, and it really does come in handy. However, the one thing that I swear I'm never going to do is wait for people to come up on this scope in order to push the button on the radio. It's fun to listen. It's good to find people, but don't ever be afraid to go out and push that button on your own and make contacts. Throw your call out there. That's what this guy in Belgium's doing. And as you can see, he's got very narrow bandwidth. Okay, very narrow. That's less than 3 kilohertz of bandwidth. Just meaning that his signal's kind of weak. So anyway, let's get to the mistakes I made real quick. If you look up here, it's this is your attenuator. It's off. Okay, I'm going to bring up the menu real quick, and I want you guys to pay special attention to the waterfall area. You can see a lot of areas of black inside the other areas here, and this level right here, the -5 level. Okay, that's basically a gain for your display. So I'm going to select that function, and I'm going to turn that up to 0. Watch how much it saturates the lower part and the upper part. Okay, so that's not messing with your actual RF gain. That's just showing it's putting more gain on the waterfall to enhance the background noise more, which you don't want a lot of background noise, but you could see how you could lose a signal in there if you turn the gain up too high. Okay, but that's just a gain for the waterfall display. I like to keep this back down on around -5, and I think it came that way from the factory. Also, it helps, like right now, I want you to watch this, the neon light that I'm using, or not the neon, the LED light that I'm using is interfering with the radio a little bit. So when I turn this off, I want you guys to notice if that gets away, eliminates some of that background. So we're going to turn that off. And if you look how much noise was in there, it's really brought some of that noise down. So that's a good thing to have. I got to turn it back on for the video, and there you go. Now you got all that background noise. That noise is all from that LED lamp. Now you can use the gain control, like I was just showing you, that -5 dB, and eliminate all that. I don't find it necessary. While that noise is coming through, the radio is doing a great job of filtering that noise out. So that's what that level control was for. All right, now we're going to go back into your display, and if you can see from your frequency, I'm on 189.980. I should be on 120. So let me make sure I got this right. I believe this is 17 meters. It is 17 meters. So 17 meters, and I don't want you guys that are new to be intimidated by the names of the bands. I can explain that to you very easily. The veterans and the people that have been into the hobby for a couple years or even 30 years, they understand all the terms. But like I said, this is my journey. I'm trying to share with new hams. And if there are any veteran hams out there that need to correct me so I'm not giving out misinformation, I really appreciate the comments and the subscriptions so that you can keep me in check. Because I'm 3 years in and I haven't spent as much time with this hobby as I wanted to. Anyway, let's get back to the screen here. So you see the 18.120, we're on 17 meters. That's my tuned frequency. And then you see this minus 20K, minus 40K. Okay, all this is basically showing everything below and above your set frequency that your radio is currently displaying on the screen. Now, I've got that narrowed down pretty good, and let me show you what I mean. So I have it at 100 kilohertz, okay? I think that's a good place to leave it, because even though you're not getting a lot of coverage on that band, watch what happens when you go to 1,000 kilohertz, okay? So it's showing everything 1,000 kilohertz wide from center of frequency, so 500 kilohertz in each direction, okay? And as you notice, the numbers have changed. It was 20 before, now it's 200, 400. The edge would be 500. So you're bringing in all that noise. Now, to me, this makes it more difficult to differentiate what good audio signals are as opposed to background noise. And you could see just now on the screen there is a frequency that went all the way across. Well, that's a clown that's going around using his tuner and scrolling through that band at the same time. Yeah, they're kind of oddball. Sometimes that's background noise, but 9 times out of 10 it's somebody clowning around because they just like to clown around. So you can see with all this noise in the background, the band is really noisy today. Now watch what happens when I turn my LED light off. Okay. All right, there you go. Half of it went away. Okay, but you still have that lower half of things. I'm going to see 18120. We'll get back to that. But when you scroll down through your frequencies, you know, the lower end of the band is really noisy today. So I don't like to have to watch all that noise, but most of this noise is out of my privileges as a general operator. My privileges as a general operator start at 18110 just on this band. So 1810.000. This is where my voice privileges start, right here on this frequency. And there are charts to help you to understand what your privileges are in each bandwidth. And I think the one company that puts out the best chart with that information, ICOM, puts out really good band allocation plan chart that's more easily understandable than what the FCC puts out. So anyway, we'll get back to the display here. So what I like to do when I'm with my monitoring span per se, what I'm doing is hitting the span button. I like to keep it at 100K. Okay, it really spreads everything out to where it's a lot more defined of what signal is coming into the radio. It doesn't make me want to hunt people because there's so much black in between that's basically dead air. That's going to force me to key up on my microphone to try to make those international contacts and do the DX contacting. So what I'm going to do today, I'd like to encourage you guys to have a ride along with me tomorrow. We'll do a live feed tomorrow while I DX on this screen, and you can see when I transmit on whatever bandwidth that I'm on, and you can see how much power output that I'm putting out on that band. Now I'm already tuned up, and normally I'll just use 100 watts. So what I did there is just use the function button to get my RF power up. I'm already at 100 watts. I can take it down to whatever I want using the function button. So, you know, I demoed some of this the other day, but I thought the monitor add-on really helps. So if I can't really see what's going on, or if I got glare in my eye, or my eyes are just fuzzy that day, or whatever, you know, it's good to have that bigger display, because I'm going to tell you now, my eyes are so bad that looking down at the radio itself right now, I can't see what my span is. It's hard sometimes to tell exactly where the frequency is coming in from, which side of the frequency, basically when I mean what side of the frequency is. Okay, so your upper and lower sidebands, they react differently. We're on an upper sideband, as you can tell with where the VFO shows upper sideband. On upper sideband, a lot of your bandwidth starts on the low end of the frequency. So let's say I'm on 14 or 1811 right off the top. Okay, we're on 1811. When somebody transmits on 1811 on upper sideband, you're going to notice that most of the bandwidth that's used is higher than 1811. But it's going to come in clearest on 1811 most times, as long as there's not a lot of atmospheric distortion. So it's really cool because these radios are just so reminiscent of the Star Wars scene where they're trying to blow up the Death Star, and you hear the guys' voices on the radios in the fighter planes or the space planes or whatever that are distorted, and you get that with ham radio. And I think that's where George Lucas added a lot of realism to what was going on in that movie. Pretty wild. But anyway, back to the display. So I just wanted to give you that update. Just before I started the video, I did make a contact with Belgium on 18.120 at 8:30 this morning, which was actually about 8:15 this morning. And I thought it was really cool to be able to make that contact with him. So that being said, I know this is going to be a really short one today, even though it's probably still about 25 minutes long. Just wanted to let you guys know that I know I made a mistake. I make mistakes with these videos, but it's really cool to see the technology, firsthand after listening to it, being able to have a good radio that can discriminate between the different noises, bringing up the audio levels from people that are thousands of miles away. And I'm just really enjoying this setup at this point, and it'll be a while before I need another base radio. Now, the one thing I do need to do is replace this radio up there in the corner. I need to replace this radio. This is not my radio. It works. It does a great job. It's a very good, clean sounding radio. I just can't stand it because it's an absolute bear to program. So, on my next live stream, what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to live stream tomorrow, Sunday. What is it? Sunday, November 12th. I'm going to do a live stream. We're going to schedule that today, later this evening. I'll do a live stream around 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow, and do a quick DX session, see if I can get some overseas contacts. I'll be the one reaching out and see what we can do to get people from overseas or Canada or Mexico to hop in on the radio. It's not impossible, happens every day. Band conditions could be bad, band conditions could be good. We'll have to see, but it all depends on the atmosphere. That being said, thank you guys for joining me today. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow during the live stream on November 12th. And looking forward to seeing you guys. I might send some invites to you, but if you watch this video, please just like, share. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe because, I'm not looking for subscribers just for numbers. I want you to subscribe if you're interested in my journey and what I have to share with ham radio. So that being said, 7-3, this is KC3 QPJ Aaron, and we'll be QRT.